Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so excited. Very few times am I the oldest person in the room. So excuse me if you all don't get my references.
No, you have one person who's slightly older than you.
You.
I didn't want you to say that, but now that you said it. You studied at NYU, studied Pol Science. You decided to come back to India. Why so? You could have chosen a life out there with better AQI and a very different world.
So, like, the world was different then. I graduated almost 10 years ago. I'm going to be an alumni for 10 years next year. So, I went to college in 2013 to 2017. Right? So, think about what was happening in America at that time. So, Trump was just becoming president. The election campaign was going on. And there was protests all the time. So, we had Takeover Wall Street. We had the Not My President movement. And I went to NYU. NYU is probably one of the most liberal places you could be in this world, right? We had Bernie Sanders, when he was running for president, give his speech from my campus.
Wow.
At Washington Square Park. Of course, Hillary's stronghold was Wall Street, again, my campus. So things were really in turmoil at that point. And then think about what was happening in India at that time. Right, the BJP was coming in with a huge mandate. We had unbelievable public infrastructure in terms of Aadhaar, UPI. Geo had come into effect. And it felt like the country of growth. So, who remembers Achhe Din Aayenge? I don't know if you all were too young. But basically, our Honorable Prime Minister, he came to America and he did this rally in Madison Square Park, and I went for that. And it just seemed like there was going to be so much promise in India. And there was all these buzzwords at that time, like ease of doing business.
Correct.
You know, things like that. So, India felt, and we were growing at about 8.5% at that time. And they were growing at like 2 or 3%. So these were like vital decision points. And AQI and things like that are like great assets. I think there's an emotional infrastructure to life as well.
And that is
right?
India.
That is your parents. That is the community around you that has built you. I think to be able to build with an emotional infrastructure and to be able to carry out your life, it's a much bigger asset than to have roads and railways, in my opinion. As a person, it depends on your moral standing. Like I had a huge feeling of responsibility to build for the country.
As I keep mentioning, you've got 800 million people below the age of 35. So technically, you've got the largest youth population in the world who is in India.
Yeah.
So when you're building for India, there are already so many consumers who are going to consume from India.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense to come back to India, understand India per se, and then build for India.
Of course, build for India, from India, for Indians, by Indians, all of the above.
And you said something very interesting. You went to NYU and you saw the political climate out there. Would you go back to NYU if you were starting all over again at this juncture? If you had just graduated from school, say, and
100%.
you were to...
So, I mean, things were different then. Like, even at that time, I thought, okay, I'll go for my master's. Visas and things were much easier then, coming, going back. Would I go back? I mean, I think being a global citizen and understanding that, being on a campus where you can meet an Albanian and a Palestinian and an Israeli and you can all have an open conversation as students, I think that's a really beautiful thing. I wouldn't trade that for anything.
You know, you're a great example of somebody who is a global citizen and also locally rooted. And perhaps that has to do both with your university and then all your time that you spent in India. What does it mean to be locally rooted? What does it mean essentially to preserve Indian culture?
We think in systems and environments.
Correct.
And not as individuals first, right? So we have a responsibility to our families, our society, our country. But because of these generational roles that we play, I'm very confident that I'll be able to have my kids and like leave them with my mother or my mother-in-law. Even at a society level, I think we're liable to our actions because we play these roles really well. So I think it makes us better people. And generally also, I think Indian culture in this increasingly fragmented world where we're able to hold contradictions really well that I don't think globally people can do. Today, you're able to be like a wholly rounded person where you're able to celebrate your own culture, but you're also able to take in the culture of those around you and not only tolerate, but accept it. And those are two very distinct things. That is something of Indian culture we should never let go at any cost. So don't let anybody polarize you. How much ever your own social media is your own sound box and you go deeper and deeper into it, get out and read more opinions and allow for tolerance and allow for acceptance of those around you. I think it's a very beautiful thing that we have.
Indian culture, of course, and Indian sabhyata. जैसे आपने बात की, where you spoke about the fact that oneness is there in India,
course.
and we see everything as a collective. We see everything as Vasudeva Kutumbakam. We see everything in Anikantvad. We always see things. The pluralist idea of the worldview is essentially an Indian idea per se as well. And many of these universal thoughts are rooted deeply in Indian culture. But you spoke about something very interesting, which haunts both them and me, and perhaps I would like to believe, is the algorithm. You spoke about social media, and you said don't let social media drown us in the narrative war that is there.
Yeah.
So I'm just wanting to understand, how do you deal with the algorithm when the algorithm shows you things only which is one-sided? If you like a dog video, then only dog. You
you're
only see
own sounding
dogs.
box, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't get varied views and opinions.
So then how do you make sure that you also balance the two?
It's just detrimental to your mental health, and it's not adding any real value, right? And if you're on it, and if you're on it for your friends, that's great. If you're on it to learn and inform yourself, then you have to be really vigilant about the kind of content you're consuming. Because you have to know that today, for social media and for this algorithm, your mind space is essentially their commodity that they're trading on. So that is how you're paying for it.
Well, what you said is so true about the algorithm. But then another aspect of your personality, and I want to touch upon it, is that you dedicated 8 years to Bharatanatyam, and you did this alongside a degree and a career. So most people, they leave their passion per se behind in that sense. You continued pursuing your passion, finished your degree, so to say, and then continue to perform, is what I was trying to get at. And that in itself is quite commendable. What keeps you going when it comes to things like this?
I mean, there's many passions that I've let go of that you don't see, like, of course, political relations. But, I mean, Bharatanatyam for me is spiritual. It's my form of seva. I feel like I'm in prayer when I dance. And it's a temple dance form, for those of you that know, and it's a way to tell stories, and it's a way for you to understand the stories of our gods. And for me, I feel closer to my God when I dance. For other people, it may be in prayer, it may be in chanting, it may be in meditation, it may be in cooking. For me, it's dancing. So I have to keep that part of my life alive for my faith.